Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some updates here on this early Friday evening. I saw this, I did a video on Bitcoin yesterday with the US government. Now we've got Trump selling DJT stock. His media officially signs around a $3.5 billion deal to buy Bitcoin and hold it as a treasury asset. So Trump really investing, embracing Bitcoin, selling his own stock and using it to buy and hold BTC. We want the government to make an investment, maybe a rotation from gold to Bitcoin, at least sell like 8% of the gold to buy Bitcoin. I don't know. I saw that though. We've got the Atlanta Fed now estimating a 3.8% GDP growth. Amazing for Q2 2025. The Atlanta Fed, as always, they were terribly off in Q1. I wouldn't necessarily trust what they see, but a 3.8 growth rate is, especially when you consider the recession fears, which is back to back negative quarters in terms of GDP growth. We had the first quarter be minus zero point 0.3, and that was mainly because of the amount of imports we had, because everyone thought it was going to be this huge trade war, this tariff situation. Well, it turns out it's not going to be that. At least we don't think it is. And now what Trump has done is really pulled an Uno reverse card to where now we've got undeniably lower inflation because of the effects of the tariffs on the markets, including lower energy prices with lower gas prices nationwide. And now we've got a serious growth in quarter two of around 4%. We'll see with the Atlanta Fed. They've been off. I wouldn't necessarily trust it, but I do think, you've got the recent betting in terms of recession. It's like a 26% chance. It should be like a 5% chance at this point, as long as there's nothing crazy that happens. To be fair, Q2 opened up in April, and that was Liberation Day, and everything tanked, but it's recovered, and the stock market's gone up more over, you look at April 1st before Liberation Day versus where it is now, it's higher. So the S&P, the NASDAQ, this is some serious stuff, and this is lower inflation with a better looking stock market with a higher GDP growth than expected. Wow. And this is just the start of Trump's, quarter one was partially Biden's lame duck. So this is really Trump's first quarter. So this is huge stuff. And this is great for propaganda. And you're able to do it lower inflation, higher GDP. After one small little negative quarter, which was again part of Biden's, it wasn't because of Biden, but it wasn't fully Trump's quarter, but it was also because of the amount of imports that were coming into the United States trying to front run the tariffs. There was a little bit of a contraction. But you can see what's happened now. It's looking a lot better. We've got Donald Trump talking about, oh yeah, this is an estimate by the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, extremely low growth level, 1.8% over 10 years. Trump doesn't like it, says the same thing happened in 2017. We doubled their numbers. He's absolutely right. Let me explain. So they're talking about the growth rate, and Trump is saying, well, look, we have the biggest, most historic tax cut to the middle class, unmanageable. You know what they're trying to do now? They're trying to say, well, people making under 17,000, they split it up. It's like under 17,000, and then 18,000 to 35,000, and then 36,000 to 80,000, and they try and split it up and say, see, the poor people are going to lose money. The poor people don't even pay taxes, right? The poor people don't pay any taxes. So how if they're going to lose money, or if rich people are going to make money, rich people pay by far the most taxes. So it's going to be represented to where they make more because they pay way more in terms of taxes, and they try and manipulate and say, see, he's taking money from poor people and giving it to rich. It's completely ridiculous. No, he's giving tax cuts to everyone, including the biggest tax cut, a historic tax cut for the middle class. We've never seen a tax cut like this. And what we're going to be getting now is we're going to be getting some serious economic output. And Trump knows it, and he said they did the exact same thing where they undersold it too relative to the amount of revenue that they can generate, because there's going to be more money in people's pockets. It's more spending money. And now you can see what Trump says, the information they've released in terms of the 1.8% growth rate over 10 years. He predicts will do either 3, 4, or even 5 times the amount they purposefully allotted to the 1.8%. With just our minimum expected 3% growth, it will more than offset our tax cuts, which is always a debate, whether or not you can offset it. with the economic stimulation because people are going to have more money. So we'll have to see if it does, but that does seem like a very low rate right there. We've also got the Supreme Court ruling in Trump's favor, 8-1. This happened today, allowing Trump to revoke temporary legal status of about 500,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela under the Biden patrol program. Just another disaster by Biden. Any of these temporary people need to be deported. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's like the thing is, for immigrants, it's almost better under Biden is if you applied for, if you're like an asylum seeker, because it's like 40% of them, they say, oh, there's all these illegals. What about all the asylum seekers that come here? And then they really run it up in terms of the amount of welfare they get because they're technically legal, but it's all temporary. And so the Supreme Court said, well, these people need to be deported as well. It was a robust program by Biden. And you know how they always say, well, we're trying to help these people. We're bringing them into this country. Absolutely not. It's just like when they threw 20,000 Haitians on that small city in Ohio, and then they said we're racist. It's like, well, if the total population of the city is 50,000 and you throw 20,000 Haitians onto that city, you're just an evil person. Like, you seriously are evil. But, oh, we're racist if we say these people aren't going to fit in culturally. It's 20,000 people into a city of 50K. You are a evil person that wants to destroy that city. That's majority white. That's disgusting. That's the type of anti-American narrative that these liberals have. And they say, well, no, we're helping people. Well, you're destroying American citizens' lives. And we're done with it. And the Supreme Court is done with it. They rule 8-1. You know, there's the activist judge who will vote against it, I'm sure. But overall, that's very good. Those people need to be deported. You can see the Atlanta Fed now. There it is, 3.8%. They originally had 2.2% growth. Now it's up to 3.8. Consumer confidence index jumps to 98.0 in May, up from 86. So this is really good what's going on right now with the economy. Inflation is falling despite media opposition to Trump's tariffs, per The Hill. Well, we know that, and I've reported on that. We're going to get the reading on the 10th, though. I don't know, they're talking about the core inflation. Why would it, maybe this is what this account does. We haven't gotten the core inflation, and to be fair, the truflation's gone up the last 3 weeks, but now it's stagnating. It's around 2%. It's because of the energy prices. You're going to get that. I think the core is going to be 2.3, 2.2. It might stay 2.3. That would be my guess right now. We've got some polls that are, we'll go over some of these, but Atlas Intel, we know they're a very accurate pollster. So number one, they released their 2028 Democratic primary, and I agree. I think Kamala Harris is going to start falling off. I predicted she would. They've got her at 16%. But how about Pete Buttigieg, who is sitting at 31.5%, AOC at 19%, Cory Booker at 10%, Newsom sitting at 7%. So in a way, I kind of agree that they are looking for somebody else other than Harris, and Harris was only there because of name recognition. Buttigieg, to me, is a soy. He's someone that, if you look at his resume, it's really robotic. Like, he wants to check off boxes. He's like, oh, I served. It's all for political points. It's really dystopian if you look at Buttigieg and what he's done. But, yeah, Buttigieg, I can't see it being him. Maybe Buttigieg is VP. AOC, I could see maybe as VP. I just don't. It's going to have to be somebody, though. It's going to have to be somebody. And the thing is we're all kind of waiting for someone to come out of left field with the Democrats, and it can still happen. It's very early. But it doesn't surprise me that Kamala is falling off. This was a big poll released by Atlas. You can see they're an A-plus pollster. This is something that I think their numbers are off. When you look at this, they've got Trump at a -10 approval rating. They've got the generic ballot +9 for Dems. Even the most liberal people will say there's no way. There's no way a generic ballot is +9. It's clearly they oversampled libs, moderate Dems, whatever you want to say it in terms of their polling. Atlas is a really good pollster. This was a bad poll, though. And by the way, why would Trump, even if you look at Atlas, they had Trump in a better position in terms of approval with a way worse economy. When you look at all of the other top approval metrics, they've got Trump in a better position because, we've got the tariff situation tamed to a degree to where it's down. That's driven the stock market up. So his approval rating's gone up in the short term. But apparently, Atlas finds somehow he's more unpopular after the increase. And now we're getting numbers in terms of people are saying, well, no, he's driven inflation down. So to me, there's some stuff that really doesn't make sense with this poll. Atlas is a good pollster. This is not a very good poll. There's no way a generic ballot rating would be Dem +9. That's just not accurate. That's an oversample of moderate Dems. That's what I would call that. But you do have that right there. And then you've got the Republican. Some interesting movement here. Marco Rubio +10%. This is from April. Vance down 22%, which is kind of strange as well. There's some big movements with these Atlas polls. You got Trump Jr. sitting at 8.5%. Guys, the stuff with Trump Jr. is just, and he said a few months ago, oh, he's not running, there's no way, and I hope that's true. But you know how it is with Donald. If he wants his son, there's a lot of MAGA people that would vote for his son in the primary, 100%. He wants the lineage, but I don't think he does. I'm just saying that would be the speculation. Now, Ron DeSantis at 8%, Ramaswamy 5%, Tim Scott 2%. It's, Vance, I think, is the heavy favorite still. The ticket right now, what they're saying is they represent it as Vance and Rubio, or Vance and Gabbard. I'm surprised Tulsi is not on here. I don't know if she was not on this. You'd think she'd at least be on here. I saw some things with betting where Tulsi was in second behind Vance or in third. So Vance Gabbard, Vance Rubio. People are saying maybe Rubio in general. Yeah, I'd be. With Rubio, there's the neocon aspect. He hasn't really shown it this administration. The Iran situation will be very interesting. I think that's Trump's baby, though. He understands. To me, Trump is more in control of that than Rubio in terms of what they're going to do with Iran. And we'll have to see with the Israel-Palestine stuff, but it does seem like Rubio, he's kind of been the star of the administration. They've got him doing all these different tasks. He's been really hard. He's a China hawk. He's very against China. And a lot of Republicans find strength in that. They like that. He's certainly matured as a political, individual to originally back in 2015. He's kind of repositioned himself now to be within MAGA. And he checks a lot of the boxes, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me in terms of that. But some interesting movement. To me, it seems like it's going to be Vance Rubio, and then the Dems, Buttigieg could be a VP option. AOC could be a VP option. I don't think they found their actual leader within their party. I mean, it could be Buttigieg. We don't know, but I think there's going to be somebody else that steps up. And there's this trend now to where you need an outsider. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to go that route. Would it be someone like Stewart or someone? I don't know, but we'll have to see in terms of that. Or maybe even somebody within Congress that we don't know much about yet. It could be them as well. But that's just an update, guys. Make sure you like the video down below. Also follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.